Let's go ahead and try to finish up Chapter 7, and then for Chapter 8, like I said, there's going to be just a little bit for Chapter 8, and I'll let you know exactly which parts to be studied. So, we had left off in Chapter 7 at the point where we were looking at how the bone tissue remodels, and how that is something that has to take place throughout the lifespan of the tissue. So we left off talking about how we can have it remodeled to grow in length and in width, and then how it will use the hyaline cartilage as the model, the blueprint. There's another reason that we might need bone to do all of these things, and that is the point when a bone breaks. When we have a bone break, because it is the tissue that it is, okay, it's the solid matrix. But when that bone breaks, one of the things that I want you to remember, this is tissue that is full of blood vessels, okay? We've got blood vessels running down through the middle of osteon. We have marrow in the middle of the bone, and then we've got blood vessels penetrating from the sides, those Volkmann's canals. I don't think I mentioned those, but it should be in your reading. But those blood vessels that come in horizontally, okay, those are the Volkmann canals. So when the bone breaks and that tissue snaps, one of the things that happens is you have disrupted the blood flow. Now remember, the types of cells that are present. The types of cells that are present, there's osteoblast, osteocyte, osteoclast, all of them are getting exposure to the blood because of the structure of bone. But you break it, and you have now disrupted the life cycle of those cells. The osteocytes, which are the ones that are like in the lacuna, okay, maintaining the matrix, they're going to begin to die. We're going to see osteoclasts are going to be needed because they're going to need to come in, break stuff up, clean it up, so to speak, okay? We're going to need osteoblasts to come back in, but what other type of cell are we going to need to come in and work when the bone gets broken? What was the name of the stem cells in the connective tissue wrapping? Osteochondral progenitor cells. So that tells me I've got the stem cells that can give rise to osteo, which is the bone, and the stem cells which can give rise to the cartilage. Now let's stop and think for a second. For bone to be created in the solid matrix, what fiber is needed the most? My collagen. So, where would be my source for the collagen fibers that might be needed for the bone repair?
The fibroblast.
And where do we find those? in the blood. So now when we break a bone, because of the blood supply that we have, the blood is not only going to have materials for repair, it's going to have the materials that's needed to build the bone. Fibroblasts, which will give us the collagen, which is the rebar for that hydroxyapatite, okay, that's going to be found in the blood. So, when a bone breaks, and I think I asked if y'all had ever broken one or something. I never have. Well, I mean, I think I have, but I didn't go to that. But anyway, when the bone breaks, one of the things that happens, okay, well, you're like, oh, all right, yeah, maybe I should go get an x-ray, let them check this, see what might be going on, blah, blah, all right? So you go, they go, look at the x-ray. Yeah, we got a break there. Let's set this, let's cast it, all right? When they do that, there are repair processes that are taking place at that break in the bone. Just like we would have if, say, we had a breach to our outside body, we're going to form a hematoma. A lot of times we have a big breach to the body, we form a bruise. That's what a hematoma is. So even if the broken bone does not penetrate the skin, it still creates a bruise. This time it's on the inside. It'll be around the tissues, and the tissues around the break. Does that make sense? So, we get that release of blood from all of those vessels. And remember, bone is an organ system, okay? So we've got all of this blood supply, so we're going to get the bruise, but just like other parts of the body, we got to stop the blood flow. So at the area of the break, we've got to form a clot. Blood is going to have the materials to do that. Do you guys remember the platelets and all that sort of stuff that we mentioned? So we're going to get the blood, hopefully, blood flow to stop. We then get a callus. This is the part that will begin to form, and it's going to form from those stem cells that we're going to have access to. So the callus, when we break the bone, the goal, take that broken bone and begin to get those ends to go back together. All right? That's why the doctor may have to physically manipulate it. All right? They might twist or pull. Okay? You might have to have surgery where they could possibly put in pins, screws, rods, that sort of thing. Okay? But to begin to stabilize that break. So, the tissues, the cells, will begin to cover that area. You'll see that in that break, because we've got in the break sources of all these cells, they're going to begin to form the callus that's going to try to get those two ends back together. The difference is, it's huge. All right? So this for the broken bone, it doesn't come out being nice little putting back together of the bone. You end up with this huge structure getting formed around it. On the inside, blood vessels begin to help with the clot. They begin to bring materials that are going to be needed they begin to help with healing. We're going to find that because we have the access to blood vessels, macrophages can come in. Those are those large eating cells. They're part of the white blood cells. Okay, they're going to come in, clean up the debris. Osteoclasts are going to help to break down the dead bone tissue. Fibroblasts are going to help to give us rise or help us create collagen and granulation tissue. Chondroblast. We need the cartilage model first. So in this callus formation, that huge portion that's going to form around the end of the two broken bones is going to come from cartilage. So when a bone first breaks, the first healing that takes place is to create the hyaline cartilage. So during the time that we begin to see the setting of the bone, the casting of the bone, however they take care of it, and you keep that on for about 6 to 8 weeks. When they take that off, okay, and you usually see, they usually take an x-ray before they take it off because they need to see if it is stabilized enough to remove the cast. What they actually see in the x-ray is the formation of the hyaline cartilage around the bone. So, at the point that they take off the cast, at that roughly 6 to 8 weeks, you've got a huge formation around the area. However, it's stable enough that you're going to be able to remove the cast. But the chances are they're going to start sending you to physical therapy. They're going to tell you, okay, well, you can't return to sports right now, whatever the case might be, okay? Because they know that that fracture that occurred in that bone could take up to 2 years to heal fully. So what you end up getting this cartilage that will be getting invaded by bone cells, wrapped around the end, giving it stability, but it's not healed, okay? So you get this huge structure built around it, and the whole time that that's taking place, that is going to be the hyaline cartilage that is going to be getting invaded by the bone cells, and the first structure for bone that shows up in the bone repair is woven bone. The one that's all kind of just in different directions from the collagen fiber, and it's not in the shape of the bone that was broken. So, if we were to break the humerus, and the first thing that would get there is that hyaline cartilage model, that'll begin to get invaded by bone cells. Cast will be taken off, and it will continue to be this huge structure, but there's no fine definition of the collagen fibers. As healing occurs, that collar will get taken over more by bone cell, and eventually become lamellar bone. The bone that you would see right here, and if the healing